What's up, YouTube? Looks like we got ourselves a patch that came out today over here where there's been a couple changes, all of them nerfs, which, you know, we'll get into. But let's go over these characters and the changes. There's been adjustments to Johnny, Kenshi, Raiden, Peacemaker, and Kameos, Kung Lao, and Stryker, and that's it. So there's been a couple changes. Let's go over them. We're gonna start by covering Johnny Cage. Here's some changes for you. If we look at the notes out here, main fighter Johnny Cage, the bee's knees down plus front punch, which is down 1. Now 7 star frames, up from 6. So Johnny Cage, if you look in the bottom left corner there, it says 7 frames. It used to be 6 frame, and I'm pretty sure Johnny was the only character in this game that for some reason had a 6 frame down 1 when every other character has a 7 frame down 1. I think with the exception of Quan Chi, whose down 1 is slower. For whatever reason, it was 6, and now they just made it like everyone else with the 7. So, you know, if you're a Johnny Cage player, and you know, you lost a frame there, but honestly, nothing too crazy. The other change that they did is his roughhouse front punch is now +1 on block, down from +3, which is his 1-1. If we set the AI to block 1-1, you'll see that says block advantage in the bottom left there is 1. If we look at the move list, block advantage is 1. It used to be +3. Main reason this matters, before he could do 1-1 and that would be +3, and then he could go into his 9 frame mid hit confirmable knee, which would be something like that, and then on a hit you get a full combo. It's 9 frames. So if he's +3 and you have a 9 frame mid, that means 6 frames would trade. If you don't have something that quick, you die. And essentially Johnny Cage's were just killing people with that, because it was like essentially always their turn. Now Johnny Cage, he can still do other stuff. Forward 1 still +3. He could do forward 1 into that, and that's still gonna frame trap you and kill you. Stand 2 +4. You can do stand 2 into that, it still works. Stand 1 +4. You can still do stand 1 into that. You just can't do 1-1 into it. So like it is a nerf, and it is gonna matter, but Johnny Cage is still good. Don't let anyone tell you differently. This character is still really good. Changes to Kenshi, slightly reduce the damage done on block by ancestors attacks. So that's really just the Sento stance, I think is the AI set to block. Yeah, right. So I guess before I used to do more chip, now it does a little bit less chip. Like it's still doing good chip though. Like, you know, you're still gonna get these sequences, whatever it may be. You're still gonna do chip, it's just not doing as much chip. But that's what they changed for Kenshi. Nothing too crazy. If we look at some of the cameo changes over here, Kung Lao slightly increased the cooldown and slightly reduced the recharge rate of Buzzsaw when held. So that, if I control him, oh, do you see that? And do you see how it's coming back? It's definitely slower now. If you look in the top right hand corner there, definitely slower. It increased the cooldown, slightly reduced the recharge rate of Buzzsaw when held. The regular Buzzsaw, I don't think has been affected. It's just holding it. So now it comes back a little bit slower. And so, you know, I know for some characters like Gearus, like I know Gur specifically, he would love using Gearus Lao, using the Lao hat, sending it up there, stacking his hourglasses and shit, and then rinse repeat. Can't really do that as well now because it's gonna take longer. So there's that, but I don't think it's anything too bad, but yeah. The other change was to Stryker, and it says here reduce the recharge rate of low grenade toss to match high grenade toss. Now the funny thing is, no one uses high grenade toss. That's the high grenade toss, and if you look at that recharge rate, the recharge rate is pretty slow. No one was even using that. Everyone's just using this one. But now they made it slow. This is like kind of looks like Goro slow to me. Let me actually compare the two. All right, let's compare their cooldowns. Goro's is still slower. Do you see how Goro, he comes out and then it takes a while before it starts recharging? Stryker's actually still recharges quicker, but it's pretty much the same, right? It's very comparable, right? Very comparable recharge. Stryker starts recharging quicker. Goro's takes more time to start recharging, but it's essentially the same. And that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt the Stryker players, because before, like, they're doing, like, you know, these Stryker players these guys are just fucking, you know, just what do you mean? Fucking doing everything into this. You know, doing this, doing something, and then like by now, you know, you could fucking do it again or some shit. I don't know. It was ridiculous. Now they can't be looping this as they once were, so it is definitely gonna affect that. I do think people aren't gonna be using Stryker as much as they were. We might be in a new era of chameleon Kameo picks or something like that. Kano is still going to be really good though, so I don't know, but there's definitely going to be some changes there. So the next changes that we have to go over: Raiden, reduce the damage done on block by electromagnetic storm and enhance electromagnetic storm. So he's set to do that. And what is the move? There we go. So, you know, this is doing almost 4% chip on its own. I don't remember exactly what it used to do, to be honest, but it's doing just under 4% now on its own if you don't flawless block it. If you flawless block it, you'll make the chip not happen, but on its own it's doing just under 4%, and then if you enhance it, it's still the same amount. That's -12 with pushback. To be honest, I would flawless block it most times, so I'm not generally taking that 8% anyways, but that's the only change that they made to Raiden. His game plan essentially remains unchanged though. Like, Raiden Kano is still going to be Raiden Kano. You're still going to be doing poke into that, into Kano, keep yourself safe, whatever. It's going to be the same thing, but I guess now you're just going to take a little bit less chip for it if you're not flawless blocking. That's what it is. Peacemaker had some more important changes. Fixed force multiplier. That's his just gunshot, not enabling auto block, leading to an unintended linked combos. You could do this, right? And then you could do this and it would combo. But now it doesn't combo anymore. They took that away. Yeah, leading to unintended link combos, slightly increased combo damage multiplier on the force multiplier. So now I guess this move actually scales a little bit harder than it once did. Eagly cooldown after blocking ground air offensive and beautiful bird bullets now the same as when they hit or miss, 3 seconds. So there was this weird thing that you could do with Peacemaker. Yeah, there's this weird thing you could do with Peacemaker where if they block this bird, you could just do another bird. You still can't? I thought they took that away. Is that not what the patch was for? What? Hello? After blocking ground air offensive and beautiful bird bullet, that's, yeah, okay, is now the same as when they hit or miss. 3 seconds. It should be 3 seconds. I don't know, man. It's still letting you do this shit. It's still letting you do it right after another. Cause like if you hit, then you can't do it again, right? If you hit, then it doesn't, right? If you hit, then you can't do that shit. But now, it says in the patch notes that after blocking is now the same as when they hit or miss, but it's not. So I don't know about that. Eagly cooldown after Eagly assists during shove is now 2 seconds, up from 0.5. So I guess that would just be, you know, doing this. I don't know. you know, something to do with that. The cooldown should be a little bit more. So like that's what they changed for Peacemaker. That's the patch, guys. That's the patch. Oh, it also says general fix. Delayed when players can move in round 2 and later by 29 frames to match round 1. That's probably has something to do with people like using Raiden and moving before the round starts for some weird reason. That was a thing. But that's it. So this patch is literally only nerfs, right? They nerfed 2 things on Johnny, 1 thing on Kenshi, 1 thing on Raiden, and like 1, 2, I guess 3, 4 things on Peacemaker, and then they nerfed 2 things or 1 thing on 2 different cameos, right? This patch literally just nerfs. Now overall guys, my thoughts, I have no issues with any of these nerfs. I think these nerfs are all warranted. To be honest, Peacemaker probably deserves more nerfs than this, all right? Like, the character is still pretty fucking stupid, to be honest. He probably still deserves more nerfs than this. The character is really fucking good. I don't have any issues with any of these nerfs. What I do have an issue with is I don't like the idea of only nerfing stuff and not buffing anything. Now, obviously, coming from a Reptile player who you may or may not believe is low tier, some people still don't think he's low tier. But coming from Reptile main that's been playing this low tier character since launch, seeing Kenshi get beautiful buffs, new moves, all this shit, whatever, I'm just here saying, where's mine? All right, where's my buffs? Because Reptile, honestly, is one of the worst characters in this game right now. Honestly, like, and that's just facts. If you don't believe me, I don't know who you are anyways. So, you know, that's the thing. So, while the nerfs are warranted, I don't like the idea of having patches that only nerf things and they don't buff anything. Like, you're just, if that's what NRS is gonna do, it's not going to be good for the game long term. Like, shift up the meta, man. Buff some stuff, change some stuff, make things that aren't used as much stronger. Like, we can look at the characters, all right? We can look at the characters in this game and stuff. And like the cameos, there's so many cameos out here that can definitely be buffed, all right? I'm gonna tell you guys right now, Reptile, he needs some buffs, all right? He needs some buffs. There's some other characters. Kenshi, he needed some buffs too, but they gave it to him. So I'm happy for you Kenshi players out here. Your character has actually become a real threat now with some of these buffs that he got. But like, there's some other characters out here. Like, a lot of people say Havoc needs buffs. Maybe he does. Natara, maybe she needs something too. Maybe Sub needs a little something. Maybe Scorpion needs a little something. I know Reptile definitely needs something. I know that, all right? I know that. And like, there might be some other characters that could get a little bit of love in some departments, but like, it seems to me that for the most part, NRS, like, even if we look at MK11 as an example, there was so few things that they decided to actually buff in that game. Over the 2 years that they supported it, over the 4 years that it was being played competitively, you know, there was very few things that they actually changed and buffed in that game. And what worries me is like, we're kind of going down that same path. Now, in the patch that we had in December, it was like a really good patch. They buffed like a lot of stuff that was actually really good, I think, for the game. Like, but that was all cameo stuff, right? They made they did a buff for Scorpion. They made his overhead, his 30 frame overhead, they made it safe, right? They made Cyrax's net drain meter all of a sudden. They buffed the fuck out of Mataro, making his recharge rates better. Some stuff with Frost as well, they buffed. Some stuff with Sector, they buffed. They gave Shujinko more health. Like, they were doing a lot of good stuff in that patch that helped a lot of cameos. But like, if you look at these cameos, there's still too many cameos in this game that I don't think are either good enough or their moves aren't well balanced. Like, even look at Goro. How often you see someone use Goro's unblockable stomp? All right, why is it basically useless? Because his whatever move is just the only thing that's being used. Make the cooldown on some of these other stuff shorter, like what you did for Mataro, so that it'll be more useful to use his other stuff. Tremor is kind of like the same. Like, Tremor is one of those characters though where it's like, I think if they made his ambush stuff not have such a long cooldown, maybe, like, I was thinking instead of taking full Kameo bar, it takes half, but like half Kameo, he would be maybe too good. Maybe make it full Kameo bar, but just have the recharge rate not be as long so that you can use it more times, you know, in a match. Like, they could change more stuff. Sonya in general, I don't even think she's that good of it. Like, she's an okay Kameo, but they're just better, you know. Like, make other Kameos just a little bit better just to compete with these other guys. I think at this point, Stryker, them changing that grenade shit, if they wanted to change that grenade shit, they should have also made it so that his like overhead low shit recovers a little bit quicker, so that he still has some good use for that. Maybe his handcuff move recovers quicker or something, you know. Give him something else so that he doesn't just fall off like that, because now he might just fall off. I don't know. So I think they could do more with buffing characters and stuff, but that's just my takes anyways for this. Overall though, I will say, overall this patch I'm happy with. Like, I am happy that there has been some nerfs to like Johnny, Kenshi, Raiden, Peacemaker, the Lao Stryker cameos. I think that's all fair. Like, a lot of this stuff was just too stupid. I think it will at least somewhat shake up the meta somewhat, but they could have done more. They could have done more, and hopefully they do more, because we need a patch that has buffs that can really just make the game shake up more. That's my two cents anyways. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'd appreciate it.